Schooling has resumed in all 11 schools in the KwaNyavu area in KwaZulu-Natal Midlands following consultations between the Office of the Premier and traditional leaders. Schools in the area did not open for the 2022 academic year due to safety concerns after teachers reportedly began receiving death threats. Schools were set to reopen on Wednesday last week. SABC News reporter Mlondi Radebe is at Phangindawo, full-service school, KwaNyavu, covering the story for us. A very good morning to you. What's the latest? What's happening at the school?
Thank you very much, Desiree. We are here in KwaNyavu. Most of the schools that were closed, basically that did not open last week, have been opened after the community members and the traditional authority yesterday had a long meeting where they discussed that this must stop, the closing of school must stop in the area. You'd remember that last week teachers were greeted by the notices in the gates, threatening them that if they open the schools, something bad will happen to them, and also they said in those notes that they demand to meet with the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal to update them in relation to the problems in the area. Remember that in this area, Inkosi KwaMdluli was removed in December 2020 by the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, but the community, the traditional leadership and as well as the community, they said they were not given any explanation on why Inkosi was removed by the Premier, and they demanded that the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal must reinstate Inkosi Mdluli to his seat. But since then, there's been marches to the Premier's office. There have been protests around in the area. You'll also remember that during the local government elections on the 1st of November, some voting stations did not open on the first day, basically over the weekend when there was that special voting. And on the first day, one voting station was burned down in the same area, and the IEC was also assisted by members of the SAPS to try and open those voting stations. So since that time until now, there's been another incident where the traditional authority office was also burnt down in this area. So the tension has been volatile in this area. But next to me is Ubaba Induna in the area. Babu Mzolo, who will briefly tell us about the meeting they had with the Premier and the decision they made. Babu Mzolo, sebanga kakhulu ngesikhathi sakho kafushane nje ngomhlangano enibe nawo noNdunankulu mhlawumbe usibuyisela ukuthi izikolo zingavulwanga ngosonto edlule nihlangane kanjani kwazi wafika la sikhona njengamanje.
Ukuthi ngiye ngafonelwa ayobaba usemkhuzwayo engicela ukuthi uyasicela ubaba Zikalala ukuthi ke sihlangane naye lapha eofisini lakhe eMaritzburg eshokolo wesithathu ethi asihlangane ngolesine. Sibese sihlangana ke ngolesine nobaba Zikalala nethimba lakhe. Sazikhuluma izindaba zesizwe ezithinta yona inkosi ukuthi ibuyele esihlalweni sayo. Sase sithinta neindaba zokuthi izikole la KwaNyavu zivaliwe, kuzofaneleka ukuthi zigcine zivuliwe. Nokho ke sakubeka ukuthi akukho kakhulu ezandleni zethu ukuthi sizivule izikole, kodwa kungaba khona okuhle uma ngase sibambisane nohulumeni ukuthi sihlangabezane phakathi nathi sengabaholi nohulumeni sikhulume indaba ngokuhlanganyela ukuthi siyacela ukuthi izingane zibuyele esikoleni. Thina ke sibe sesithatha isinqumo esisheshayo njengomndeni ngoba sasifuna ukudlulisela ngisho nemessage esasiyithole kubaba Zikalala ukuthi uzolilungisa kanjani udaba, njengoba esitshela ukuthi uzohlala phansi nomndeni wakaMdluli bese beyilungisa ke inkinga ekhona enjengenkinga, bese kube ukuthi ke njengake thina ke sifika njengoba sibuya ngolesine sekufanele senze sure ukuthi isizwe siyayizwa indaba kaZikalala. Umndeni wakaMdluli uyayithola inkulumo ebuya kuZikalala. Sase sithi no, asenze i-short notice ukuthi sisicela isizwe sihlangane naso khona lapha yana eMzizima engangezwe hall. Sibese kwenzeka kanjalo ke ukuthi sihlangane, sibese sikhuluma lezi indaba zidlulisa umlayezo ukuthi uNdunankulu ucele ukuthi abonane nomndeni wakaMdluli balungise inkinga yesizwe. Sase sicela ke esizweni sisonke ngoba besizola isizwe besiphume ngobuningi baso, sifuna ukuzokuza ukuthi ngabe inkosi iyabuyela yini na esihlalweni sayo. khona manjalo ke sibese sifaka lolu daba lwezikole umndeni I'm sorry isizwe sisahlangene sinjalo sase siyacela isizweni ukuthi noma ngabe ubani owenza lokhu okuvala izikole siyacela behlise imoya inhliziyo zabo zibe phansi ngoba sesibonene phela nozikalala umuntu okudala kwasasifisa ukubonana naye sixoxe ngodaba lenkosi sesibonene naye washo ubabuzikalala ukuthi no uyafuna ukubonana nomndeni esikhathini nje singango 2 weeks uzobe eselwakhile uhlelo lokuthi abonane nomndeni ngaleyo ndlela enjalo ke siyacela umphakathi ukuthi azivulwe izikole ngoba izikole lezi ezikhona ziyikusasa lezingane zethu kanjalo futhi izingane zethu ziyikusasa lalisizwe akufanele kasikho isizwe siyolo umuntu ongafundile akufuneki mangabe kukhona into esiyidingayo sibulala okunye kuze sithole okunye
ngabe baba ungaqinisekisa ukuthi zonke izikole bezikade ziphazamisekile ngesonto elidlule zivuliwe
ngizoqinisekisa ukuthi zonke izikole ebekade ivuliwe amsole ebekade ivaliwe zaKwaNyavu zivuliwe ngokuthi sihlangane sonke baholi kanye na umphakathi bese sicela ukuthi akwenzeke kanjalo saphinde futhi sacela namaphoyisa ukuthi awasilekelele ukuthi zivuleke izikole izingane zethu zibuyele esikoleni
mhlambe iziphi izinto enizama ukuzibeka ukuze nikwazi ukugwema isimo esifana nalesi sokuthi umphakathi mangabe udiniwe uphazamise izikole ngoba akukona kokuqala siyakhumbula ngesikhathi kuvota kwenzeka into efanayo kwavaleka ama voting station
sikhulume nomphakathi ukuthi ungabothi mangabe kukhona into edinga uneenga bese ubulala izinto ezinjengezingqalazinda ezisizwe njengokushiswa kwezinkantolo ukushiswa kwezikole nani into nje ezophazamisa kanti isidingo nqangi somphakathi awukucabanga ukuthi ungayilungisa izinkinga ngeinkinga yiloko esiqinisekisisayo
mhlawumbe masibheka ababomzolo sibheka lapha ngemuva ukuthi ekususweni kwayo inkosi ngoDisemba wango2020 kuze kube manje ngabe endaweni lukhona yini uzinzo nokuthi mhlambe yikuphi enizama ukwenza ukuzama ukuthi abantu bahlale ngasonke isikhathi belalela ekusho indlu yaseNdlunkulu
ngingasho ukuthi uzinzo alizange lube khona selokhu inkosi yehliswa esihlalweni sayo kodwa njengabaholi abakhona ngoba sikubeka njengokuthi undaba ezitha unkosi umdluli nomndeni wakhona sibathatha njengabaholi abakhulu balesizwe abaphezulu thina njengabaholi abakhona ke esizweni saKwaNyavu siyaqinisekisa ukuthi asidingi izinto ezifana nalezi ukuthi zenzeke esizweni nakusasa nanini singabothi mangabe kukhona inkinga bese siyilungisa ngenye inkinga
ngabo thisha bathi bazizwa bephephileni ngemva kokusatshiswa ngesonto elidlule
othisha bazizwa bephephile kakhulu emva kokusatshiswa ngesonto edlule ngoba abaningi ngikhulume nabo just before umhlangano wayizola ngithi nje ngakhuluma nabo ngolesihlanu sixoxa yona le ndaba yokuthi olunye lo daba esolibeka eqhulwini ukuvulwa kwezikole mase sihlangene nesizwe ngesonto so kuthe mase kuvulekile sesixoxile ukuthi hayi azivulwe izikole ngase ngithatha isinqumo mina qobo lwami njengomholi kothisha engibaziyo bafowethu kusasa kuvuliwe izikole izosebenza sesikhulumile namaphoyisa enhlaka ngenhlanga ngoba kube khona nophiko liphezulu la kaPOP lapha ya izona saxoxisana nalo ukuthi siyacela basisize izikole zikwazi ukuvuleka namhlanje kanjalo nesiteshi sike saya kusona isiteshi futhi ukuthi hayi siyacela ukuthi basisize bazivule izikole kuze wonke umuntu ozobe ekhona esikoleni azibone ukuthi uphephile sizozama thina njengabaholi ukuthi sibe seduzane ngaso sonke isikhathi sibaqinisa idolo ngaleyo ndlela.
Thank you very much, Siyabonga ngesikhathi.
Ngibonga kakhulu.
There was induna of this local authority. Basically, in short, is saying that they managed to convince the residents of KwaNyavu to try and be calm and open the schools so that the learners can go attend schools. Also, the teachers, they feel safe in the area because they also convinced them that it's safe now to come back to school. Back to you, Desiree, in studio.